trying to figure out what's going on with my Be Live. All these updates are screwing with my screen. So let's hope that I can stay connected. And let's see what we have happening today. Let's see what's in the energy today. Let's see if it's a little calmer than yesterday. So I did discover yesterday that there was a big spike in energy. And if you look at, I think it's called the Schumann energy charts. It shows like the spike that's coming from like the lower vibrating energy, which is of the core of the earth and not like out there. It's from the core of the earth. And so there was like this kind of cosmic-y kind of raise, and we haven't had it. It's been like flat for so long. And yesterday there was a rise in energy. So we had a lot going on. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Tara. Good morning, anyone else who's joining in. Just bringing it up on my phone. Seeing what I got going on here. Just letting some people join in. It looks like I'm frozen on screen. And I don't know if I really am. So let's just see. Good morning, Lori. So I'm not frozen on screen. Okay, because I'm not seeing it on my end. So I'm just trying to get up and letting people join in before we start. But I have nothing happening on my... It's not showing me the live is actually up. Even though it is, because I know I'm seeing you guys. So, oh, here we go. Anyone else who's joining in, just bring it. There we go. We are... Oh, and my logo and stuff is showing up on live, but it's not showing up on my screen. Whatever Be Live got happening here, this is like, it doesn't show me what's set up on my screen, so I can't see ahead of time. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so I'm on a short schedule again today. I don't have a lot of extra time again today, but I was just talking about the energy, and about, I was going to close my blind. I'm like, I want to look outside. I was just talking about the energy a little bit and where all this crazy energy and this rise of energy that's coming in. And it's from the core of the earth type of thing. It is the energy, it's the lower energy. It is the energy of the earth and not the energy of the higher energy. And so there is a big, like and it hasn't been for a long time. So what they were saying, it's like the Schumann chart or something. I was actually listening to someone talk about this morning. I had to go find this energy, and I had to find some more stuff about everything that I posted on YouTube yesterday, which I don't share over here on Facebook because it's channeling messages that hopefully people that know this work also see it. And so there's a peak, and the energy in the earth core has been like very low and just kind of like no action for a long period of time. And then all of a sudden we get this peak in this action. So for anyone like myself that is a channel that starts to get those, we get very artistic, creative. We can't sleep. So I haven't slept in like 3 days. I've been sleeping like 2 hours, and it's the energy. It's like our minds are going crazy. We have all this creativity that's happening. We want to get it out. So I'm like editing. I got 2 books behind this screen today. There's 2 books open, and I'm editing 2 books at one time, and I'm going back and forth between the 2 books. So there's... That's how crazy the energy is that's around us. So if you're feeling as if you're wondering why you're like hyperactive or you can't focus on one thing, you're all over the place, is that when you look a little deeper, sometimes the answers are much simpler. They're just not visible. And there's a difference, right? It's not visible, but it's simple. You just got to dig a little deeper to look for it. That there's nothing wrong with us. We don't need to get to the doctor and find out that we have like some hyperactivity going on in our bodies. Is that this is actually a very simple answer, is that we are all energy. And so the energy that's happening in the earth is vibrating throughout you, and you're connected to the earth, you're connected to the universe, because we're all energy. And so sometimes you got to dig, you got to go seek and search where the energy is coming from. And that's what I do. And so that's what I did. And so you could see it in the chart. And it was actually in an Aries reading is where she brought it up, because she said it was like very much tied to us, like in that fire sign. So that Aries energy that we have. Are we going to stay together forever? I have no idea. I don't know what we're even talking about. I'm sorry, Shanera, I can't give you an answer to something I don't know what we're dealing with. Um, I'm not in doing mediumship. I'm in doing a morning card reading that may inspire you to find out if whether or not you want to stay together forever. Right? It's like, so this is depends on what we're asking and what we're seeking. And sometimes we got to be very clear with what we're asking the universe in our questions. A bird just flew past my window. All right. So today I'm actually not starting with my own cards. So this is my deck of Oracle cards, and we're not starting with them. We're actually starting with Sonya. I don't even know how to say her last name. Croquet, I think it is. And the answer is simple. And that's what I mean. Like yesterday's energy was crazy. It was all over the place. But the answer was really freaking simple. It had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with the universe. It had everything to do with the earth energy. And that's simple. And so I got to ride the wave. And while I'm riding the wave, it is an opportunity that my energy is at a peak level to do the creative things that are coming. So don't run from the creativity, stay with the creativity. The sun will shine outside another day, and I have to stay with this energy. And that's what you have to connect to. So while I have energy within me to do this work, it's go day. So this is go days. So what can you do today? What is in your energy today? What do you have energy for today? Are you charged up full of energy, or are you low on energy? Where are you? If you're low on energy, maybe you need a day to do nothing. Maybe you need to rest. And so they're not letting me stop. So the answer is simple is coming in for our card of the day. And so Shanera, this might also work for you as well. And so the answer is often simple, and it's spread the light. And it spread the light, and it's this little beautiful little fairy energy coming in. And so spreading the light is to truly know that do you sit in worrying about whether or not something is going to work for you, or you're going to stay together, or is my life going to stay, is this love going to stay forever? But what is forever? First of all, you have to discover what is forever. Forever could end tomorrow. You don't know. So forever in the time that it is meant to be here, whatever it is meant to be, however much time we are meant to be on earth. When we talk about forever, it could be eternity. Is it forever in human terms, or is it forever in universal? So in that universe energy, in the ether, we are eternal. So we are these eternal beings. So when you look at the goddess stories and you look at God, the gods and goddess stories, they talk about these mystical journeys that, of walking through the portals and becoming mortal or immortal, and you live forever. Well, your soul self does live forever. It's a forever eternal, and it will remember in its way. It will remember the relationships that it had with other souls, because we are of the same soul. So in the other lifetime, we're pretty much all like brothers and sisters. So we're all intertwined and related and connected. So we have a forever bond, a forever connection. In this lifetime, we have forever until something changes, including it could be a situation, a story. It could be something that changes in our mind. But in the meantime, do you live in the fear of what could happen, or do you live in the faith of what you have today? And so this is spread the light, and the spread the light is like the direction that we take. And if you look at it, it's like it's in that V shape. So we pull that energy in. And so we pull the energy. So we have this beautiful purpley in between here. And it's like, so this to me is representing the third eye, and it's representing the crown chakra, and where we're getting our information from. Is it from our head, of our illusions, of our past, of our fears, or is it from the inspiration of inspiring ourselves to let our higher self guide us through, rather than us being caught in the head stories? And if we let our higher self guide us, we can do the healing in the human body that is needed, so that we can make the logical choices and decisions, and not to be so reactive and responsive to everything that is kind of happening in the world. Yes, I love this deck. You know how, Lisa, do you know how I took this deck out this morning? I went into my closet in my office, in my spare bedroom, and I thought I was going to maybe start packing up some stuff. My freaking dogs are barking at a dog outside. So I thought I was going to pack up all the stuff, and instead I just pulled out this one deck of cards. And that's all I did. I just went in and I'm like, oh, and I took the deck off the shelf and I walked out here with it. And I'm like, oh, I guess that wasn't the intention. I guess the intention was to go live and use the deck of cards. And like I said, the answer is simple. All the energy that was happening yesterday was easily explainable to me. It was just go a little deeper, dig a little deeper, and it was actually deeper. It's in the core. It's in the earth energy, so it's a lower vibrate. It's lower energy in that darkness area, but it's not. But it's not low vibrating energy. It's high energy. So because then it gives us the opportunity to go deep. So I was deep into channeling yesterday. I was deep into some deep-seated places yesterday. I seen stuff yesterday that I posted some of it, but some, yeah. I'm like, don't judge me on what you watch when you watch my channeled messages, because I channel beings, I channel other lives, I channel through that energy. So it's not my work of right here. It's not what I'm doing right here. It is what I do when I channel through and I give myself over to that work. So let's see what we have in another card that comes up. And blow off some steam. See, we do have that higher energy, and it's like you just sometimes need to just go let things out. And that's where creativity comes in. When you're letting yourself be creative, when you're letting yourself like use the creative part of your mind, your creative part of your mind is your forward thinking mind, but your creativity is also in your sacral. It is in that part of us where, when you bank up your emotional stories. And so when you bank up your emotional stories, you're either banking it, you're either stacking and banking into the past stories, which gets us depressed and low in energy, or you're so caught in what's happening in the forward thinking that it's like you got all this anxiety because, oh my God, what if this happens, and what if this goes wrong, and what if, and will it last forever? Will we stay together forever? Will we do this forever? What will happen down the road? What's going to happen tomorrow? We don't have tomorrow. We got today. So if you allow your creativity, if you allow your creative self to have a useful purpose, you'll have a way less of the anxious anxiety, or you won't be so attached to the past. You'll be using it with purpose and with intention, and the intention to create in the moment something either beautiful, something productive, or something useful. So there's a lot of things, because that past and that future energy that you're putting out there is not, in the worries or in the fears, is not useful. It has no use. And so it's useless time. It's time wasted. And this is valuable energy that we have right now. And tomorrow that energy may die down. So while I have it, we have to use it. And it's so simple when you can allow yourself to get out of trying to complicate life. And it's amazing how we complicate life. Look what politicians are doing right now, just complicating the shit out of things. We have one country, we have the US living free and going back to their lives, and we have Canada going into deeper lockdowns, like really, and we have to have some deep prayers going to India. Like it's like there's such contrast in everything, and every decision and choice and everything that is happening in our world, is that there is some deeper areas that we need to look right now. You didn't get the message? You may need to go in, Carlene, and reset the notification. Whenever Facebook kind of resets their stuff, it takes away getting notifications. Yes, prayers for India is right. And we need to, and they need our prayers. They need all of the healing circles that we can send out. There is a lot happening there. And so the other card that we're pouring, see, share your gifts. Share your gifts. So we have the gifts of we have so many gifts in our human ability, including create. So why not use it to create positive energy today? Why not use it to create a prayer circle today, a healing circle today, to create something? Go outside today, take a bunch of stones, twigs, feathers, go out and create some sort of like healing circle, some sort of ceremony that sends love and light to the parts of the world that need it today. And I can tell you, it's like India is one of those places. And I know we're complaining here in Alberta. I know we are complaining big time, but in perspective, put things in perspective, look at India. Right? It's like, and it doesn't make our truth any less hurtful or harmful, that we can't afford to shut down all these things anymore. But but we also have to look at somewhere else as well. So put our focus into being creative, to spread our love, to share our gifts and our love. And if we have extra energy today, and we have some extra faith in us, and some extra hope, and some extra kindness, and some extra energy, ability to be able to care a little bit more, let's put it towards something that's going to be of service in the ways that we can today. And then invest in your spirit. And that's what you're doing. When you're doing those things that also can help other areas, when you're using that part of your creativity, is that you're also investing in your spirit. That love comes back to you. That love comes back in tenfolds, and it powers you up. It recharges you. It resets your energy. It allows you to be able to feel that love that you are illuminating out into the world comes back. Love and light that goes out is love and light that comes back. It is the gift that keeps on giving, and there's no way of it being depleted. So when people tell me, oh, my light is, I'm losing my light, is what is shadowing over our lights? What is keeping us? Because as long as we're here and we're breathing, we have the light. We're just caught in the darkness of it. That what's shadowing over us? What is shadowing over my mind, my truth? What is shadowing over my vision today? Right? Prayers for the world. Right? Yes, exactly. But that's right. And so it's lost in the news of COVID. Exactly. Right. And so this is truth. Before, when we were young and we didn't have access to the world, you didn't know the world had the trouble that it had, or other people were struggling as much as you did, because you lived in your bubble. You lived in your little world. You only knew what you knew. And now we know so much that's going on, but now we're to the point that we only know the things that they want us to know. And so we have to dig deeper to find the things that are actually happening out there that may need more of our attention, that may need more of us care. And Raina, we talked about this in level 2 last night about caring. It's like you can use words like kindness, careness, faith, hope, those things. But do you really understand what it means to care? Like deep-seated caring. Caring means that you have to care about truth. You have to care so deeply about truth that you have to be open and willing to look at all aspects, all sides, to see everything. And I'm a seer. So I'm willing to see whatever I need to see, to know that to see that seeing brings about messages or healing or an understanding and a deeper seated connection to having love and light for the world. And because when you are collective, all right, Lisa, I'll chat to you later. And so when you're in that energy and you're in that time, or when you realize how we live in such a we were living in a very open, we were living in a closed world, then we went open, and now it's trying to be closed again, but open to a certain degree to see what we want to see. And so the world has a lot of other things besides COVID that is happening, and we need to look at other stuff that is happening, because the attention and the attention that is being given to the COVID story is distracting from other things that are happening in the world that we really need to give our attention to, because we are ignoring and neglecting the places and the people that really need attention right now. And it's not to say that COVID is not something we need to give attention to, but there's a lot more happening, and that's some of my channel messages that we are not looking towards, that in the end they're going to be much more catastrophic than what this is. Just saying. Just saying. So reach out. So look at us, Raina. So yesterday we talked about holding that infant close. I did a meditation with my class and I got them to hold an infant close, and an infant that was swaddled in a blanket, and to hold it and look into the eyes and realize that it's us, to see yourself and to hold yourself and to feel that, make that kind of connection and commitment to this little baby of what you would do if you're holding a little baby, right? If you're holding that little baby and you could look into it, and then you have to reach, bring that child into yourself. Well, you have to reach into yourself. You have to reach so deep inside of you and inside of the truth to be able to dig out, to have such kindness, such a level of caring that it goes beyond just our surface compassion, our surface kindness, our surface. And we have to be able to start reaching out in such a way. And that includes asking for the help that we need in other areas of our life. Hi, Christy. Welcome. We are doing general today. This is all of my morning lives that I do is me reading through the energy that's in the universe right now and what we're feeling, and sending love and light out into the world, and to also give a message of inspiration and hope into the world. So all my mornings are not specifically choosing one person. That's my evening stuff that I do. And you can also book personal readings with me on my website. So we do have the death card, which is I call it the death card. It is the way home. It is Emi. And so this is back to my deck now. This is my oracle cards, and this is Emi. It is the way home and the beautiful journey and coloring up, and to start coloring up our lives, our world, to start to know that sometimes we color up the things that we don't want to let die. We hold on to, we create stories and images to stay connected to our motives, to what we're trying to hold on to as our truth, as our story of our illusions. And we don't want to let things die, and we don't want to let there be endings. So we hold on so tight. Yes, you get over to Lisa's page. I know I'm trying to get finished up here so people can get back to Lisa's as well. And so Emi is the way home. So it's that me backwards. It's like when we're running so far away from ourselves, is we are getting caught up in every other truth out there, and we're not listening to our body, our own hearts, like our gut feeling. That sense of self is that we knock down the flags. We neglect the things that we are experiencing. We're like, oh yeah, no, yeah, no, I don't want to have to hear that. I don't want to hear the other side. I'm not listening to the other side because I don't care, because this is providing for me the motive to be able to stay in my story. And I like this story, so I don't want things to change. We have a lot of that energy going on right now. And so Emi is the way home, is that when you start to rest in the way, is that you start to accept, you start to understand, and to start to accept things on a different level. You start to realize that, you know what, if I really want to get to, get to a truth, I may have to open my eyes to see the world bigger, differently, to look at things with a different perspective, to look in, to understand, to actually care about what's happening in the whole world and not just what's happening in my world, because we need to start caring about what's happening everywhere, and not just what's providing for you that comfort to stay inside of a story. And so there's a lot of self-centeredness and selfishness that is coming behind the projections and the manipulation of holding on to our story, or to stay in our story, or to stay connected into only that little cluster of energy. And we're being told that it's time for us to start expanding beyond that, to start spreading love and light to even the people that you say, oh, I don't like them. How do you know you don't like them if you don't know them? Right? If you say you don't like somebody, if you say you hate somebody, or that you got a hate on for somebody, and you've created a whole story around why you hate them, have you personally ever met them? Do you know them? And where did you get that story? And why did you create that story? right? It's like because it served a purpose to why you're able to stay in your energy. And I know people always say, well, don't you just hate those kind of people? And I'm like, what kind of people are you speaking of? What are those kind of people? And what have they done personally to you? And where did you get that narrative? Where did you learn that? Did you read that in a magazine that had some sort of manipulation behind it, some sort of motive? Did you get somebody's view of somebody's truth and somebody's story and you led that to be your truth? And that's now leading your life? Where did that come from? Because unless I personally know somebody and I've sat and listened to their stories, I really don't know. I really don't know. And I don't know how I would feel about somebody or what my energy is about them, because you know what? Sometimes I've been on both sides of the coin, right? And I have been attacked and labeled in my life. And I know to be attacked and labeled how much somebody else has built up a story and a character around who they thought I was and what they wanted me to be so that they could be the asshole, or they could create an enemy out of me so that they could do those things. But they've never personally ever met me. Or they may have met me once in casual meeting. Who knows? But that's what we do. And that's an awful, awful trait that is now leading our world. And it is horrible. It is awful. It has created people into enemies. It has taken so much dignity and integrity away from our human race as beings upon this earth. And we got some serious emotional and spiritual maturity to do so that we can so that we can break this what's happening, that is actually about a motive. There's motives behind it that serves only a small amount of people. But in the meantime, it has made enemies out of a whole society. And that's a scary thing. And we do it in friendships, we do it in life, we do it to people we don't know all the time. And because I've been on the other side of this, I can tell you, I I don't run around trying to defend myself to those people, because I don't really, in my personal life, maybe I don't want that someone who's so quick to judge or to make up an identity for me. I really don't know if I would ever want that person to be personally in my life, but I definitely would not do what they did to me. And that's how you know your integrity. If I would not do onto another what somebody else is doing onto me just to get back at people. So that whole desire of saying, well, somebody needs to pay, and I'm going to cluster everybody together. If you look like this, if you think like this, if you vote like this, then you're that kind of person. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible way that we have been guided to believe that to be our truth. And it's caused us a lot of problems. And we're going to see some serious dismantling and falling down of this, because it's all built on such a weak foundation that no matter how many times you try to build those stories, when it's built on a weak foundation, it will crumble, and you will see the crumbling. Just like you can build the biggest buildings that may be built with the strongest freaking products, but if the foundation is weak, it will crack out from underneath you. So something will crumble and fall. Whether, when you're trying to hold a story up, when you're trying to hold somebody as your enemy, or the truth will come out and it will be exposed. Just saying. Right? Exactly. Because hate is a strong freaking word. Hate is a strong word. And when hate is leading our lives, I can tell you there's something deep seated inside of us. And what it does to you and what it manifests inside of you is not worth living within. It's not worth letting it fester inside of you, because it will make you eventually very, very sick. And that's when you see sickness. That's when you see lung infections. And that's when you see, cancer growing in bodies and stuff, because it's cancer. Right? Exactly. Right down to our first card. Send love and light. Send love and light. Right? And so you cannot go to that level of people. You cannot, because that's going to the swamp, going to the problem, trying to get into the problem will never, ever bring solutions. Ever. Somebody has to stay above the problem. And it is about going to the solution instead of to the problem. I prefer to stay up in the solutions. I prefer to stay up on higher ground, take the high road and stay on that high road, and just know that a time will come when more and more people will want to climb out. Stay on the friggin' faith train. Told you, stay on this faith train. Okay. Next card. See, the eye of the beholder. Can't make this up. The Queenie card. And this truly is that whole sense of like we have this and that, and we can make anyone into a monster. We can turn anybody into a saint and a savior. And then there's a truth, right? So when we want to, and this is how idols come about. This is how we idolize people, is that we dehumanize them. And so we also turn people into monsters and enemies because we dehumanize them. And so there's a lot of dehumanizing that is happening in turning people into monsters, and then turning people into saints that they're not, turning people into saviors that they're not. And there's a human aspect that is really, really missing in the equation, and we have lost that. And so we have also then dehumanized our human connections with the everyday people. That really truly needs to come back. And I hope that resonates with everybody today, and that we can go back into, it's very simple. If you want a better world, be better. If you want a better life, if you want to be able to see truth, you got to be willing to face truth. You got to be willing to look at all sides. You got to be willing to listen to what you don't want to have to face, and also what you want to face. So it's like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing in a relationship when you just got this feeling that there's something not right, or somebody's cheating, or somebody, and then somebody tries to tell you those things, and you got all this proof, but you don't want to see it. You don't want to hear it. So you avoid it, and you turn everyone else around you into enemies because you don't want to hear that truth. Well, it's the same thing. Put that in a big spectrum, right? Put that into the big spectrum of the world. So then we create stories and illusions around everything else that you don't want to see, that you don't want to hear. And then even the people on the other side of that, or the person on the other side of it, they then create you into a monster because they're listening to the one side of the story of the person who's doing the cheating that is justifying their bad behavior. So then they're talking about how awful that person is, and how, they don't do this, they don't do that, there's everything in the world wrong with them. Then you believe that story to be true because you're hearing it from the person that you want to fall freaking in love with. So it's like, and then there's a real truth. If you want to know the truth, if you want to really go to that gut, if you care enough about truth, if you care enough about your existence, your life, your happiness, your joy, you will listen to that gut. You'll listen to the flag signs, you'll listen to the messages, you will listen to all sides, and then you'll say, how much what's going to bring me my happiness and joy? And if I can never trust again, if I can never be in that, why would I want to be with somebody who already who tells me that they love me, but they can turn around and they can do these other things? That means it's not love, because that means I don't understand love, and they obviously don't know how to love. Put that into the world perspective, and then take that, right? And so look at it, when you look at it that way, we do that in all relationships, including the relationship with ourselves. Absolutely. Well, hello from Edmonton. Lila, I hope you're enjoying this sunshine in Edmonton today. I'm only in Leduc, so I'm not very far away from you. So I hope those cards resonated with you, and that we stop dehumanizing, other people, and we stop trying to make people saints or monsters or enemies, and we start to bring back. Is it Lisa? Is that what you go by? Because it comes up as a lie, so I have to go with, right? Good. And right. And so start humanizing, start looking at the human aspects and the human being and the why behind humans' actions and behaviors, and why we sometimes do what we do. And just know there's so much truth to be there. Right? Exactly. It's all in the actions. If you care enough, you take an action. Lisa Jones. Well, I'm so glad I finally got your real name. I love it when I get to know people's real names. Then I got more of a connection. Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to validate it with one last card for us before I let you guys go. And so, love in the dark. She's not in the dark. So the darkness, we can, people can create whatever story and tell you how dark life is or how dark people's story is. But she's not dark. She is love in the dark. So today, no matter what's happening around, no matter what shadow stories you're involved in, no matter where you are, it's like, just be the light today. Be the light in the world. Be the inspiration. Inspire yourself to create a way to share love and light in the world today, to create a prayer circle or a healing circle, whatever it is, to say hello, to be kind, to reach out, even if it's a freaking meme. And I don't like memes. I don't like memes, but even if it's a meme today that inspires someone to stop and pause and to smell the roses today, do that, because that gives us an opportunity to get out of our heads and get into a place of just maybe pausing to reflect, to not continue in the spiral of any negative energy. And like I said, the energy that is coming from the core today is like, it's been like it for days. It's a good time to use this energy to not to let yourself get out of control, but to take control of it. Take control by creating, by being active, by blowing off some steam, by doing the things that truly are in love and light today. That's our energy. I hope that helps you in some way, and I hope that brings forth a good day for you in whatever you're doing, to know that there's things in the world that are out of our control, and let's send a lot of love and light to India today, and to other places in the world that are, there's a lot of people that are truly suffering and struggling today. And today we have Mental Illness Day, I think it is. And, it's like we all can let the past control us, or we can worry too much about the future. The power is in today. We have right now in this very, very moment. What can we do from today? And bye from UK. Thank you for joining me all over the world. I love that I have followers, people that follow my work all over the world. I take training all over the world, and I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful for the extensions of energy that I could get to connect to throughout the world. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being with me. Much, much love. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And yes, hats off to mental health day. It is time that we start giving the attention to where it is needed to make a change, and to not be shamed and hiding and pretending that that's not happening. It is real in our lives, and we need to deal with it today. So, much love.